Just when you thought we had enough Pinocchio in our lives, Pinocchios plural, we now have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which is a very different thing from the one we saw earlier this year from Robert Zemeckis. Alonzo, please tell us about it.
Yeah, I think when people think about the Pinocchio of 2022, they're going to remember this one, and the Zemeckis one will be kind of the footnote. Oh yeah, there was that other one too.
He's just a puppet.
No, I'm not. I'm a real boy.
It's not stop motion, but it's meant to look like stop motion.
It
right?
is.
Is it actual stop motion?
They were like little people. Yeah, there's like behind the scenes stuff with like him like sticking his face in and like looking at the little people.
Well, it's done so well, I wasn't sure. So
Totally.
That's another testament to how great this movie is. So the idea here is that this is a Pinocchio that is set in Italy. So it begins in World War I. The Geppetto's son dies in a bombing raid where a church is destroyed. And in a drunken night, several years later, he carves a boy out of the pine tree that has grown at his son's grave, and that puppet is imbued with life and becomes Pinocchio just in time for World War II, which, you know, in Italy was a thing. And so there's a real sort of brown shirt fascism kind of undertone to a lot of the stuff that Pinocchio encounters. At one point, he performs for Mussolini. But it fits. It doesn't feel like this is sort of a historical thing kind of tacked on. Like it seems true to the spirit of the story. This is a Pinocchio that doesn't feel as thuddingly moralistic as the two Disney versions and as a lot of the other things along the way. Yes, this Pinocchio exists to learn lessons and to develop a conscience and to sort of understand the world around him. But like, we don't get the Pleasure Island sequence, for instance.
Right.
You know, and so, yeah, this is the kind of movie that Del Toro just like has in him ready to go, you know. And for as much as like I liked the way Nightmare Alley looked, I don't think he really got the storytelling right, but this is so squarely in his wheelhouse and you know, is of a piece with like The Devil's Backbone in a lot of ways I was thinking about, or Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth for sure. Yeah.
This is gorgeous and horrifying at times, beautiful. The songs are good, I think. The voice cast, you have, you know, Ewan McGregor is the cricket, who is not named Jiminy. David Bradley as Geppetto, who also kind of looks like him. Mm-hmm. And of course, Ron Perlman, because there's always Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
I was really taken aback by this. I think I loved looking at it. This was a story that I really enjoyed seeing unfold, because it didn't feel like the millionth version of the same kind of take on the original novel. This is one of the year's best animated films, no question.
Yeah, for sure. And it's beautiful and strange. And as you say, it is so him, right? In the combination of like the wonder and the terror.
Yeah.
And like, it's beautiful, but dangerous at the same time. And that makes it irresistible. I love the care that has gone into every texture, into the lighting, into every piece of fabric. It's not pretty, but it's beautiful. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And the woodenness of Pinocchio, especially like the back of his head is literally just like a big knot. You know?
The grains are very tactile.
Yeah, for sure. So I think they find a new way to do that where it is, again, like you said, it's beautiful and horrifying at the same time.
Yeah. Also, Tilda Swinton in a couple different roles here, doing what she does so well in being like alluring but menacing all at once, and like using the like the honeyed richness of her voice to indicate danger and to indicate fear. This is a really scary Pinocchio, and I think if you're thinking about showing it to little kids, don't.
Yeah, maybe not.
I mean, my son, who is 13, found some elements of it quite frightening. You know, there's an idea in here about a purgatory that he found quite alarming, and he sees everything. And so I think I think it's okay for kids to be a little bit scared. It's the whole point of a lot of the Disney movies, the original Disney movies. But this because the imagery is so vibrant and so tactile and just so out there quite frequently that it's going to be a lot. I love the score from Alexandre Desplat.
Yes.
I don't love the songs though, and I know that most Pinocchio versions have songs. This is not When You Wish Upon a Star,
no,
or No Strings on Me, whatever. This is either different songs. And because this version is so weird, when people burst into song, it feels a little jarring. I don't know. The songs didn't work for me.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's always a strong theatrical component to these movies where, you know, at one point he runs off and joins this, you know, puppet show. So I think, you know, you already have kind of an organic, you know, practically diegetic reason for there to be songs for at least part of it. And then beyond that, it's like, you know, Del Toro's stuff is so otherworldly anyway that I kind of feel like you could turn any of his stuff into musicals and it would fit. Like you could, like there could be songs in Pan's Labyrinth, because why not? There's all this other stuff in Pan's Labyrinth, you know, that is, you know, breaking the rules of the world as we know it. So after one listen, I'm not going to say like, oh, they're great, but like they didn't bother me. And I thought some of them were, you know, kind of memorable, and they all felt like they fit for me anyway.
You're not going to have them on the background while you're like baking Christmas cookies.
Not necessarily, but like, you know, I'll tell you, like I watched Spirited again because Dave was reviewing it, and those songs stuck more the second go.
Interesting.
Yeah,
the Good Afternoon song is good in Spirited.
Well, sure.
Gregory Mann is good as both the living son and also Pinocchio, because he's so perky in the face of just like terrifying stuff. That is kind of a hilarious contrast there. Ewan McGregor is funny as the cricket because he's got some kind of like bemused fish out of water stuff going on with him. I like that they've cast Cate Blanchett as a cranky monkey. That's really funny.
Who does not speak, but just makes monkey noises.
Right. You have like one of the greatest actresses ever, and you give her like cranky monkey squeaky sounds to make.
And she said yes.
Yeah, no, why not? You know, they're old friends.
Of course, Christoph Waltz, you know, of course, Finn Wolfhard actually pretty good, I thought, as the you know, his one sort of human friend who's a boy. Tom Kenny as Mussolini was pretty inspired casting.
I love it. SpongeBob and Mussolini. That's called range.
Exactly. There's a resume for you. So yeah, no, this is really cool. I watched it on a screener. I would love to see it projected because I think this is really a gorgeous film. Yeah, if you get the chance to see it on the big screen, I would certainly say you should. But you know, it'll still work on the small screen
for sure. So I am saying 8. I liked it a lot.
I said 9. Yeah. Like you know, LA Film Critics votes this weekend, and one of our big categories is animation. And this definitely is like up into my top 3, no question.